Hello once again. um, I've just watched our local news and I love the way our politicians tie themselves in knots. I'll cover that in a minute. Like I've mentioned many times before, I'm neither a doctor, a professor, or an expert, come to that. I'm just a guy who thinks a lot and researches every part of the internet I can access. But I think more importantly than that, I try to think critically and logically. And it seems to me that there are quite a lot of people now waking up to what is actually going on in this world. And I'm a knowledge person. I love knowledge, and always seeking out, trying to seek out the truth. It's not always easy. And knowledge can be summed up as, and therein lies the match that struck the spark that lit the flame. I can't remember where I read that, but it suits the moment, that's for sure. Um, Now, talking of experts, okay, I've been a builder all my life, and I've accumulated a vast amount of knowledge, but I certainly don't consider myself an expert, simply because new knowledge is always being discovered all the time, and new ground is always being broken. So you can never actually be an expert right up to date. And that is exactly why you shouldn't trust people who profess to be experts. Knowledge and everything else, it moves on, it moves forward all the time. And I'm convinced, I'm really convinced now that what is happening in this world isn't about a little bug. It's a far, far bigger in its malevolence, and that's the only word I can think is malevolent. Um, in my humble opinion, there are just two types of people in this world. Now, I don't mean men and women. That's the subject I shall leave to all you LGBTQI fans and the pronouns and their polarisation of the sexes. There are only two genders, and anything else is a psychological problem, and I don't care how you argue it. Now, I'm talking of believers and non believers, and I'm not talking religion either. I'm sure you know what I mean, and I have to be very careful with my words here. And I don't want to upset the preconceived ideas on this platform. Let me just say that I am the only one in my family who still has natural protection, and I have not taken the thing that is being pushed on us. But unlike everyone who has had the procedure, I still have an option. You don't. And I don't plan to have any embroidery. Not for myself. But as I say, the option is still there if I choose to do so. If you care to look at government statistics, and that they are always there, always. But very few people want to look at statistics because they don't want to know they're being fooled. And being fooled, you are. In fact, right this moment, you'll see a massive decline in compliance all over the world, not just here. And that's why right now there's this huge, huge propaganda going on, trying to persuade us all to the contrary. I must tell you this is something that happened in the last week, and it shocked me deeply. I wouldn't say a new car, but I bought another car 6 months ago, and I wasn't prepared to pay the prices that the garage want for services and such. So I looked for a guy who was a mechanic, who could produce the paperwork and the necessary and was good at his job. And I found a guy. A nice guy, really nice guy, honest, true, and very, very good at what he did. And he did a service on my car that was a fraction of the cost of the car company. And I paid him over the odds because it was good. And he was pleased, I was pleased. That's the way life should be. 3 days ago, he died. Suddenly in his sleep. Didn't smoke, didn't drink, and now there has to be an autopsy. He was 42. And he left a young family and a very dependent wife who was partially blind. What a tragedy. What a tragedy this time of the year. And my thoughts right now are with his family. And I just wonder what happened. Yeah. And talking of families, we all have families. We can't choose them. We can choose our friends, but we can't choose our families. Now, every year in my house, we've always had a big party on Boxing Day. Boxing Day here is the day after Christmas. I don't know whether you call that in your country Boxing Day. I don't know. And we have a fun day. It didn't happen last year or the year before or the year before that because of illness. But this year it will. However, because I'm the only one that hasn't had the procedure, I'm a little bit reluctant to attend. Why, you ask? Well, if anyone coming to my house gets sick in the following days after the party, who's going to get the blame? Me. Sure, you guessed it. And the general misguided opinion of the mad people in this world is that those not having the procedure are the ones who are spreading it. And this, of course, is absolute nonsense. But a lot of people believe it to be true because they read it somewhere. Secondly, I don't want to be here because of the sheer hypocrisy of it. Everyone complies to the latest mandates on coverings when they're in shops and in public, but when they come here to my house, no one will be wearing anything. And yet their dear mum, who is an extremely vulnerable person who has had pneumonia in the past and still has very, very bad asthma. So by their own admission, by complying to the mandates, they feel happy to protect the vulnerable, whoever they may be, but not their own flesh and blood. And the madness of all of this just astounds me. People in general cannot see the propaganda that is constantly aimed at us through mainstream media, social media, soap operas, celebrities, and thousands of advertisements on the TV and the radio, and even Alexa. When you turn it on, it's constant. You can't. It's inescapable. You can't get away from it. I disconnected my Alexa, and it's in the garage, silent and unheard. It is my personal belief that the whole world is being deceived. How is that possible, you say? Has that ever happened before? Well, yes, actually it has. It's happened several times. And the last time the whole world was fooled completely was 1999. Now here's a little poser for you. It's 1999. It's New Year's Eve and it's 10 minutes to midnight. How long before the new century? If you said 10 minutes, you'd be very wrong indeed. It wouldn't happen for another year. The first day of the new millennium was the 1st of January 2001, And yet, all over the world, people celebrated it a year early because the media told them so. And the media, supposedly intelligent people, let it slide just because they didn't want to upset the general consensus of opinion. Now that is blatant lying to a gullible public. And over the years, I've had many arguments about this over the years. People, even today, people still believe that I'm wrong about that. I'm not. And thank God now it's common knowledge. Just pull out your little knowledge machine and check it out. Google it. It will tell you the truth. And Christmas, of course, is a Christian celebration. And it should be celebrated accordingly. It's about goodwill to all men and women and merriment. But it amuses me that some people where I live, in my road, they have massive displays of lights, Christmas trees, decorations, stuffed cats on the roof, elves in the garden. It's pure virtual signalling because, amazingly, one of the biggest displays in the street are the most least Christian of all. Trust me, I know them. And ordinarily, they wouldn't give you the time of day and not even a smile on Christmas Day. Just to conclude, there are many fundamental ills in this world if we want to look for the source of our troubles. We should test, especially people in power, for drugs and alcohol at work, especially in places of power. If we did drugs test instead of PCR test in Parliament, it would be closed down immediately, I can assure you of that. But most of all, we should test for stupidity, ignorance, greed, love of power, and the lies that come from that power. As I said, I've just watched the latest news, and our Prime Minister, dear Boris Johnson, has been caught out blatantly lying. He emphatically denied there was a big party at his house last Christmas when all of us had to self-isolate. But now a video has emerged of that party and the public are deeply shocked. Why are you shocked? Why are the public shocked? That's politicians. It tells you what they're all about. That they are not there for the benefit of you. They're self-serving. All they're interested in is themselves and their retirements. And I wish you all seasonal greetings. Just enjoy the now in your life, because now is all there is. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.